Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Top 10 Worst Devs. The tops and the worst. Voted by People magazine as the sexiest top 10 worst of on Earth for the third year running. What an incredible honor it is to be here. I'm your host for this afternoon's edition of Top 10 Worst of. I'm Howie. How we doing? And it's just an honor to be allowed to do this because today's top 10 worst of is such a profound endeavor showing the endlessly resilient nature of our inquisitive selves. And it's a top 10 worst excuses for not turning in your homework. Now, these types of things to the mature, refined constituency that makes up the entirety of the top 10 worst of audience might on the surface of this topic think that it's beneath them to find any pertinence to this subject matter whatsoever. However, I'd like to remind all those within earshot that our formative experiences in the early years, impressionable years of our youths, continue to inform our personas on an ongoing basis throughout the rest of our lives. Mostly things such as toilet training issues, if you're a Freudian, or if you're afraid of the Freudian, or a Freudian Frady cat, perhaps, all the lies and obfuscations that our parents told us when we were but wee tykes, about, Santa Claus and his elfin slave army that he has manufacturing his toys and paid only in candy canes. It has an impact on our lives. The scar tissue that draped around our souls becomes thickened and coarse, calloused. In some cases, precluding us from being able to be open and honest and allow people inside, and layers of scar tissue build around that. The first time we're unable to get it up in the sack, or that we're lied to by a deceptive paramour. And it just builds a filthy growth around the healthy tissues of our hearts, and staining and blemishing our spirits, creating overwhelming disconnects that prevent us from being able to embrace others and love unconditionally, throwing caution to the wind. No. Instead, life treats us to a all-you-care-to-eat buffet of damaged goods. And I'm here to try to help us make adjustments on the fly and try to overcome those issues so that we can learn to love again. And before we get to today's top 10 worst of list, oh my God, I let one loose. Top 10 worst of excuses to not turn your homework. I've got a couple of orders of business to take care of. Number one, or just as a warning, contextual knowledge, heads up, a spoiler alert. I'm an oddball. Okay, perhaps you haven't noticed. Here is part of this introduction. I've tried to make it as obvious as possible for those of you out there who are expecting something, rational and grounded, aka conformist, white bread, mailed in, complacent, sellouts, brown nose to the powers that be. You won't be found here. But that means that I'm going against the flow. I'm heading in through the outdoor, or in through the outhouse, depending on how you look at it. But, the fact is that most of your opinions have been girded by the malefactors who pollute our intellectual environment with old manners of indoctrinational bullcrap that they disguise as cultural edifices, edifications. They disguise their brainwashing and social engineering as sitcoms and stuff. It's bad news. It's not good for you. So while I am an oddball, I also, while it should inspire you, maybe not to believe everything I've got to say, or maybe it's all an act. Maybe I'm, luring you in to my mousetrap of intellectual awareness. Maybe I'm smarter than I think I am. And I'm using all the, my sexy pose downs. Trying to get you to lower the force field around your heart so that I may prance inside and plant my seeds. So anyway, I'm not to be trusted. I want you to, hear things that you might not necessarily believe, might not be accurate, might be close, might be even the team photo, but I don't know. I'm not rational enough to be responsible for the things I'm saying here. But what I'm trying to tell you is that, if you hear some things that might be questionable, I insist that you look them up for yourself and find out for yourself, goddammit. The hell's wrong with that? To take everything at face value and go like, well, Breitbart report told me to hate people with long hair that are doing top 10 worst of lists. I mean, what are you believing those guys for? Frickin' QAnon guzzle the frickin' Kool-Aid a little bit faster, why don't you? Number two, I'm not partisan. I'm not in this to play your stupid little games. If you're happy hating somebody that you've been told to hate, and you're painting that a whole group of people with the same brushstrokes, you're a bigot. That's the exact definition of what a bigot is. If you want to live out your life as a bigot and you want to judge people based on what they are instead of who they are, have at it, baby. It's worked so well for us and increased people's optimism and enjoyment of life by scads. It's 120% better than what life was before everything became so hateful. Really, I mean that. Hamburger. And, but I'm not going to play the game anymore. I'm whittled it down, trying to keep it simple, trying to go Buddhist on my life philosophies and worldview and stuff like that. And I've just whittled it down to one goddamn thing, and that's the golden frickin' rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And that's how I live by. And I'm taking every person on a case-by-case basis. I want to know who you are, not what you are. I don't care what you look like. I don't care what you believe in. It's up to you. Like I'm supposed to be better than you, that my identification with the prime mover and shaker, the ultimate force in the universe, my view is better than your view. My view is better than your view on anything. No, thank you. It's all about, just being a kind person, a decent person, a thoughtful person who's looking to be, a responsible player in the world around them, and making sure that, giving in their heart and caring and about others before yourself, and finding solutions that aren't prescribed to me by the foot soldiers are being paid by the goddamn ruling elite. These guys have, time and time again, proved themselves to be above the law. They're, every presidential pardon that you hear of is always about some criminal who's done something like really super heinous and stuff like that. It's not, you say like everybody is convicted on a marijuana conviction over the federal marijuana conviction, unless you're free to go. They didn't do anything like that. They say everybody who committed acts of violence on January 6th, all you guys are free to go. Nothing to see here. And everything like that, it just doesn't make any sense that, the only people who are given presidential pardons are people who have been convicted of crimes that directly benefit the person who's doing the pardoning. These aren't miscarriages of justices. This is actual justice that's being overturned in every case. Why do we allow the presidential pardon to go on? Why? I mean, it's one thing after another about the people in power never being subjected to, punishment of any sort. I say, they want to have laissez-faire government, great, everything like that, but it's death penalty for all the white-collar crimes, immediate death penalty for all the frickin' guys who infusing cigarettes with additional chemicals to activate the nicotine and make it impossible to give up cigarettes. Death penalty for all of them. Death penalty for freaking Michael Milken. Death penalties all over the place for goddamn white-collar crimes. That'll teach people to, to act a little better. Not just capital punishment for people to steal bread to feed their families. Stuff, three strikes you're out. That's, What about the thing with the whatevers? That's not fair either. No, it's just, everything is just so powerfully opposed to creating an even playing field for others that it's impossible to overcome all of the impediments to a government that truly represents all of its people instead of just a few of the billionaire types. And anyway, I'm not partisan anymore. There's only one party. All the Democrats are sellouts to Blue Dog Democrats and all this stuff that they're selling out all the assets from Democratic cities to shady billionaire LLCs and stuff like that. Enough is enough. Set them up with some death penalty. Throw some death penalty. Mayor Daley of the city of Chicago sold out all the parking lots of Chicago. Death penalty. Enough is enough. These guys have got to learn, and the only way that you can learn is death penalty. Lots of death penalties for white collar criminals, people who are disingenuous, and sell out their constituency for a few quick bucks. Serve them up. You will put your goddamn new firing squads to use, and the first people up against the wall should be these sellout goddamn politicians. Matt Gaetz's of the world, Richard Daley's, Rahm Emanuel's, and Lauren Boebert's, giving someone a handy in the middle of a audience of a family-oriented musical. I think it was Beetlejuice. What was it? Wicked? I don't know. It's all garbage. Setting us up for everybody in cultural areas of mainstream levels of distribution all are total garbage. And then they reach out to people like Ariana Grande, say, what's your opinion of such and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, hey, this and you think like, well, that's stupid. But the point is, that's why she was hired, because she's incapable of saying anything that goes against her hardwire programming, because she was raised in the family of multimillionaires in gated communities and stuff like that. She's incapable of having experiences that would inform a well-rounded growth of character and inner strength, and a genuine, exponent of any form of humanity. She never had to struggle to pay a dental bill or decide whether she's going to take pills or eat cat food, any of that type of stuff at all. She's pampered from the cradle to the grave. What was I doing? Oh, yeah. So, anyway, a lot of people have been getting at me thinking that the top 10 worst of lists are, artificially generated by AI bots and stuff like that. Not true. Actually, today's top 10 worst of list was compiled by me and a group of former jet ski salesmen who gathered together outside of the Piggly Wiggly that was featured in the movie Driving Miss Daisy, and come up with these lists while taking copious doses of powdered Adderall mixed with baking powder. We have, before we launch, just a couple of sponsors to mention, if you don't mind. Today's episode is in part sponsored by the movie The Texas Seesaw Massacre, which is a bunch of psychotic, cannibalistic, chili cook-off champions who gather together and ride a seesaw for 90 minutes and get massacred and make chili out of the human remains. I'm, very partial to this. Doing a prelim work on my first post-COVID project, Glands Across America, a loose spin-off of Hands Across America, except my version is going to be a gigantic daisy chain from sea to shining sea. It's Glands Across America. And then, of course, a offshoot from the producers of Agatha Christie's immortal Murder on the Orient Express, brought up to modern day major league conglomerations usurping all and consolidating all wealth within America. It's Merger on the Orient Express. 12 gigantic mega corporations gathered together on a legendary train line running across Eastern Europe, conducting a merger in order to be able to consolidate all mainstream media into 3 different corporations. It's Merger on the Orient Express, God damn it! All right, so we're ready now. Top 10 worst of list of incredible occasion. Absolutely. So a lot of people think, again, they think they're above all this, but the fact is that these, turning into top 10 worst excuses for not turning in your homework is, those types of things have scarred us all for life. You get something where you forget to do your homework, or you just didn't do it, and you blew it off. You decided to, I don't know, play hooky for 2 or 3 days and, sort of live your life and enjoy your childhood while you still had time and not necessarily conform to all the prosaic levels of indoctrination that public school represents, and the dumbing down and making you less curious and informing you falsehoods passed off as truth about your life and your culture and your history. God damn it. Number 10, top 10 worst excuses for not turning in your homework. Rapper DMX requested he be buried with it. Wah, wah. What are we going to do? Turn down DMX? Kidding? A kid? Turning down DMX? Please. Number 9, top 10 worst. I sold it to DreamWorks as the script for their next Transformers movie. Woohoo! Woo-hoo! I could see that. Michael Bay. It would be probably a step up of intellectual content for some 12-year-old's homework, as the script for a Transformers movie would be a step up. The nominees for the Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay include Jerry Tarkanian's Math Homework. Number 8, the top 10 worst excuses for not turning in your homework. Nicolas Cage stole it, saying I had a map to a national treasure on the back of it. That's right. Start squirting lemon juice on it and stuff. Oh, it could be Nicolas Cage. Hey. That was my Nicolas Cage imitation. How'd I do? Ausgezeichnet. Wait, what's the time of thing? I'm trying to think of Nicolas Cage thing. Stella! There it is. Number 7, the top 10 words do not do your homework. I'm on the football team and we aren't required to do homework. Oh, that's a good. Number 6, goddamn frickin' sonority. Frickin' hate sonority. That last note in Day in the Life on Sgt. Pepper's by the Beatles, just ringing out. Make it stop. Jesus Christ. Nobody wants to hear your frickin' 45-second long power chord. Ugh. Pee. Goddamn posers. Number 6, top 2 words. My great aunt used it to protect herself from a giant animated poisonous hogweed. Montan Gazi. I demand you to find out what that last iteration elocution was a reference to. You can't do it. It can't be done. Number 5, the top 10 words not to do homework. Since we lost our food stamps, we have to eat paper to survive. That's so sad. Eating paper. Maybe later. Next up, number 4, top 10 words not to do. Pete Hegseth used it instead of rolling plate papers to roll joints with. Pete Hegseth. Joints. In between firing generals on the way to engaging in the stupidest war in the history of stupid wars. Old time. Number 3, top 10 worst excuse of not doing your homework. A Catholic priest molested my freaking homework. It's funny how, recently, Pope Leo is going up against, Donald Trump and the war of words. It's funny the way these various different pedophiles get all ants in the pantsy with each other, watching them go at it. It's almost like they're fighting over the turf of who gets to molest the most underage victims. No, I'm the biggest pedophile. You got chocolate in my peanut butter. You got peanut butter on my vas deferens. There is no vas deferens. All right. Yeah. Number 2 of the top 10 worst excuses for not tuning in your homework. The Washington Post grabbed it and used it to print out its entire run for its subscription base. And that's the Sunday edition. It's totally pointless. It's funny the way the Washington Post was a paragon. It brought down Richard Nixon at one point. Now it's produced not being able to even offer an editorial endorsement for a candidate without being quashed by their billionaire, brown-nosing, jerk-off, dehumanized owner. Jeff Bezos would make a great Dr. Evil, or the inspiration for Dr. Evil. Well, the actual inspiration for Dr. Evil is from the version of Casino Royale that they did in 1967. You watch that movie and you'll see just about every major league joke for Austin Powers is ripped off from that movie, including some villain who's got a scar who goes like this on her scar. She's oh yeah, really? Come up with an original idea, why don't you? But it's a terrible movie, and it's kind of almost impossible to watch, but that stuff's in there. And so, it's a little bit rewarding to sort of see how people, sort of plagiarize obscure stuff and make it their own in order to cash in, baby. Where was I? Washington Post. Grabs number 10. Oh, he could be Blofeld. The next Bond villain is for the upcoming Amazon version of the Bond 007 character is Jeff Bezos. And number 1 for the top 10 worst excuses for not turning in your homework. My parole officer peed on it. There we go. Yes, indeed. Goddamn resonating noise. Don't you resonate on me, Bell. All right, so that's all the time we got for the top 10 worst of today. It's a really, I think, consolidated version. This is, I think, one of the shortest episodes of Top 10 Worst Stuff ever. Wow. Wowzers. Wow. I'm so happy to have been able to bring you yet another edition of this elucidating enterprise, otherwise known as Top 10 Worst Of lists. The finest, the best of the worst, as we like to say. Just as a reminder, in passing on my way out the door, everything I've said here is opinions. If you're pissed off in any way, shape, or form, do one of two things. Come up with your own list, even if it's just a list of complaints about me. Videotape it with your freaking phone and post it and see, if you can get your rocks off like that. Because, hey, why not? My intent is to try to inspire real, meaningful change in people, embracing the responsibility. Was it Patrick Stewart? Patrick Henry? One of those guys. The price of freedom is eternal vigilance. So, get on board for the big win already. Why tear other people down when you can prop yourself up? Use it to fuel your own righteous indignation and get out there and make good things happen. What's wrong with that? Instead of spreading the hate, spread your truth. No big whoop. Nobody will castigate you if you set an example, just saying, look, this is the truth as I see it. If you don't see it like this, go out and spread your truth. Nothing's stopping us. I mean, at this point, everybody's got, we're all doomed. Sorry. But it's true. So you might as well go out on a high note. That's what I'm trying to do. It's my pain, my life, my life is so informed by pain and anguish and regrets. At this point, it's just like nonstop suffering and anguish. And if you want to add to that, great. But I honestly can tell you that through the pain is the cleanser, and I'm just trying to. This is a labor of love. I love some of the wonderful things and people, and, gifts that I've had in this life, and I squandered them all. I did. I tried my best, but my best wasn't, didn't pass the test. And so I'm here doing this, looking like this, with, it's just pathetic. But, hey, at least my heart's in the right place. I can honestly say that. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm not trying to capitalize on anybody's grief. I'm just trying to inspire people to grab life by the horns and get horny. Hey, crush the like button, crush it. And we'll see you next time. Until then, let's try and get through this mess together. I don't know. Wait, one more thing.